There is a cemetery of dreams buried under your pillow every single morning, a graveyard of potential that died because of a conversation you had with yesterday before you ever gave today a chance. You see, the greatest tragedy is that most people wake up physically but remain asleep spiritually. They open their eyes to the ceiling but are blind to their own destiny. They answer the call of an alarm clock but ignore the calling of their Creator. I came here to ask you a question. Who did you talk to first this morning? Was it the voice of your debt? The voice of your disappointment? The voice of your doctor's report? Because the atmosphere of your day is not set by the sunrise. It is set by the first decree that comes out of your mouth. You have been waking up asking for a victory that has already been granted. You have been begging for a breakthrough when you were born with the authority to command it. You are royalty, but you are living like a slave to circumstance. You have a lion inside of you, but you keep feeding the fearful sheep exclamation. That is why I came to disrupt your routine. I came to interrupt your regularly scheduled program of doubt and worry. I am here to tell you that favor is not a feeling you wait for. It is a force you activate. It is not an accident that happens to you. It is an environment you create with your own words. So before your feet even touch the ground, before you give the enemy a foothold in your mind, you have a mandate to speak to your own spirit and declare with authority, with power, and with holy conviction, today is my day of God's favor. Now, let me explain to you the principle you just released into the world. Have you ever stood in a museum and marveled at a masterpiece, a sculpture so perfect it seemed to have been freed from the stone? What you must understand is that the masterpiece was always inside that block of marble. It was waiting for a master to govern the process of chipping away everything that was not the art. Inside every single one of you right now, there is a masterpiece, there is a world-changing idea, a billion-dollar company, a Nobel Prize-winning discovery, a symphony that could make the world weep. This is your genius. Life does not create junk. You were born an original, gifted with a unique power that no one else on this planet possesses. But the greatest tragedy on earth is that the majority of people will carry their masterpiece to the grave, still locked inside the cold, hard stone of their potential. They live and die as a block of marble, never knowing the art they were meant to be, because they never learned that they were not created to be a prisoner to their potential. They were created to be the governor of their own genius. An ungoverned genius is the most destructive force in your life. It is the architect of your procrastination, the source of your anxiety, the reason you feel so frustrated. It's that brilliant mind that has a dozen projects started and none of them finished. It is that powerful passion that jumps from idea to idea, career to career, relationship to relationship, never building anything of substance. An ungoverned genius is a wild stallion, magnificent, powerful, and breathtaking, but it will run you into the ground. It is reactive, not proactive. It is distracted by every new trend, every notification, every opinion, every fear. You have the capacity to build an empire, but you're allowing your attention, the currency of your genius, to be stolen by things that will not matter tomorrow. You have the heart of a lion, but you have caged it with the bars of public opinion and past failures. I came here tonight to hand you the keys to your own government. To govern your genius does not mean to suppress it. It means to direct it. A great leader does not quiet the most powerful voices in the room. They give them a unified mission. A pilot does not shut down the engines. They point the aircraft toward a destination. You must become the pilot of your own mind. To govern means you take the raw, chaotic, brilliant energy of your intellect and creativity, and you give it an assignment. You tell it where you are going. You decide the altitude. You set the agenda. It means you stop being a passenger tossed about by the turbulence of life, and you get into the cockpit where you belong. Your genius is waiting for its leader. It is waiting for you. This requires you to become fiercely protective of your inner world. You must build a fortress around your focus. Starve your distractions to feed your purpose. Discipline is not a cage. It is the runway that allows your genius to take flight. Every time you choose to finish what you started, you strengthen your own authority. Every time you say no to a distraction, you cast a vote for your future self. A genius that is governed becomes a power that can shape reality. And once you have mastered the world within you, you are finally ready to lead in the world before you dot. And once you have mastered the world within you, You are finally ready to lead in the world before you. But I must ask you a question. Where does a true leader lead from? The common answer, the safe answer, is that they lead from the front. I submit to you that is a dangerous misconception. The greatest leaders who ever walked this planet do not lead from the front of the present. They lead from the center of the future. They have already been there. They have walked its streets. They have seen its potential. They have felt its power, and they are simply coming back to the present to show the rest of us the way. Most people are not leading. They are managing the past. They are making today's decisions based on last year's data, last quarter's profits, and yesterday's fears. They are trying to drive a car forward by staring only into the rearview mirror. That is not leadership. That is administration. A manager works to improve what is. A leader works to create what is not. A manager polishes the present. A leader disrupts the present for the sake of the future. The manager asks, how can we do what we are currently doing, but 5% better? The leader asks, what must we become tomorrow that renders what we are today obsolete? If your vision for your life, your family, or your organization is merely a decorated version of your history, you are not a leader. You are a custodian of a museum. You are preserving what was instead of creating what could be. The future you are heading towards is a direct result of the future you are leading from. To lead from the future is to inhabit a vision so clear, so detailed, and so compelling that it becomes more real to you than your present circumstances. It must cease to be a dream you are hoping for and become a memory you are living from. Let me say that again. Your future must become a memory. This is the difference between a wish and a vision. A wish is a passive hope. A vision is an active destination. When you inhabit your vision, your entire reality shifts. Your language changes. You stop saying if we get there and you start saying when we arrive. Your priorities change. You no longer have time for people, habits, or thoughts that do not exist in that future you remember. Your decisions become different. You stop making choices based on the limitations of your current resources and start making choices based on the demands of your destination. This requires you to first go there alone. Vision is conceived in solitude, away from the deafening noise of the present. You must disconnect from the world that is, so you can connect to the world that wants to be born. Then you must make it plain. A vague vision is a hallucination. Write it down, describe it, give it color, sound, and emotion until it becomes a blueprint for your life. Finally, you must act on its authority. Begin to walk, talk, and behave like the person who has already achieved that vision. This is not being fake. It is being faithful to a future that you have already seen. When you lead from the future, you are pulling the present forward toward a greater reality, but do not be deceived. The gravity of the past and the friction of the present will fight you every step of the way. And do not be deceived. The gravity of the past and the friction of the present will fight you every step of the way. In fact, the moment you decide to lead from the future, the moment you commit to a vision bigger than your environment, you have just declared war on the status quo. And the status quo will declare war back. It will send storms. It will send critics. It will send failures, and it will send fears. Most people see this resistance as a sign to stop, as proof that their vision was a mistake. They see a wall and they turn back. But I came here tonight to Rahim Yarkhan to tell you that the wall was not sent to stop you. It was sent to see how badly you want what is on the other side. The obstacle is not in your way. The obstacle is the way. You have been cursing the very thing that was sent to confirm you. You must understand a fundamental law of nature and of progress. There is no strength without resistance. A tree that grows in a windless biodome grows fast and tall, but it is weak and brittle and collapses under its own weight. It is the tree that fights the storm, the one that is relentlessly beaten by the wind, that develops the deep roots and the strong core that allow it to touch the sky. Why then have you been praying for a life without wind? The very pressure you are complaining about is the ingredient required for your promotion. The setback you are mourning is the setup for your greatest comeback. This is the advantage of adversity. It is the gift wrapped in sandpaper. It is the hidden opportunity inside every crisis. The problem is we have been trained to see adversity as a failure. We see a setback as a final verdict. But a setback is nothing more than life asking you a question. Are you serious about this vision? Failure is not a person. It is an event. It is the tuition you pay for your education in greatness. Every great leader, every great innovator, every great champion has a resume filled with more failures than successes. The difference is they did not let their failure define them. They let it refine them. They did not become a victim of their circumstances. They became a student of their setbacks. They interrogated their mistakes and forced them to give up the wisdom hidden inside. Therefore, you must become a master of reframing your reality. When a crisis hits your business or your life, you must refuse to call it a problem. You must call it a project. When you lose a key client, you have not lost your future. You have gained an opportunity to innovate. When the world tells you no, it is not a rejection. It is a redirection to a better path or a better plan. Pressure does not destroy, it reveals. It reveals your weaknesses so you can fix them. It reveals your false friends so you can remove them. It reveals the flaws in your plan so you can perfect it. Your greatest crisis will always precede your greatest triumph because it is the crisis that prepares you for the triumph. It strips you of your pride. It deepens your character and it strengthens your resolve. So let the winds blow. Let the critics talk. Let the setbacks come. They are all merely servants to your destiny, sent to carve you into the leader your great vision requires you to be. Because once you learn that the storm outside has no power over the climate you have created inside, you will have discovered the ultimate key to your position in life. Because once you learn that the storm outside has no power over the climate you have created inside, you will have discovered the ultimate key to your position in life. And that key has a name: attitude. I did not say your location is your address. I did not say your job title is your address. I did not say your bank account is your address. I came here to tell you from Rahim Yar Khan to the rest of the world that your attitude is your address. It is the place you live. It is the position from which you operate. It is the determining factor for everything you will ever attract or repel in your life. Success, opportunity, and favor are like a courier service. They are always looking for the right address to deliver the package. And they do not look for the address of your house. They look for the address of your mind. The problem is that most people do not live at a permanent address. They are homeless. They wander the streets of their own emotions. If the weather is good, they are happy. If the traffic is bad, they are angry. If their boss praises them, they are confident. If someone criticizes them, they are defeated. They have given the key to their internal home to strangers, to circumstances, to the daily news. They are thermometers, merely reflecting the temperature of their environment. They are not in control. They are a product of their day rather than the producer of their day. They live at the address of whatever happens, and then they wonder why their life is a mansion of chaos and a penthouse of frustration. You must understand that your attitude is not a feeling. A feeling is a visitor that comes and goes. Your attitude is the home you build for those feelings to visit. It is a decision. It is a disciplined posture of your mind. It is a conscious choice you make before your day ever begins. You can be living in a palace but have the attitude of a slum, and life will treat you like you live in a slum. You can be living in a difficult circumstance but have the attitude of a king, and the entire world will be forced to respond to you as royalty. Why? Because you are not broadcasting your location. You are broadcasting your expectation. Your attitude sends a signal to the world, and the world adjusts itself to the frequency you transmit. Therefore, you must become the thermostat of your life. A thermostat does not reflect the temperature in the room. It sets the temperature in the room. When you walk into a meeting, your attitude should set the climate. When you face a crisis, your attitude should declare the outcome. This requires a daily discipline. You must furnish your mind with gratitude every single morning. Gratitude is the furniture of a prosperous address. You must guard the doorway of your mind with a jealous passion, refusing to allow thoughts of doubt, fear, or negativity to take up residence within you. You must speak the language of your desired address. Stop talking about the problems in your neighborhood and start talking about the possibilities in your vision. Stop describing where you are and start declaring where you are going. Your mind is a property. You are the owner. You have the right to evict any thought that does not pay rent, any emotion that does not add value, and any belief that violates the lease of your destiny. Because when you finally take full ownership of your internal property, the value you create inside begins to echo into the world outside. And this echo is the most honest and enduring measure of your life. It is the sound your life makes long after the applause has faded, long after the titles are gone, and long after your voice is silent. It is the ripple that continues to expand across the pond, generations after the stone of your life has been dropped. I am talking about the echo of influence. Your legacy is not something that is written about you after you are gone. It is the story you write every single day through your actions, your character, and your contributions. The question is not if you will leave an echo. The question is, what will it say? The great tragedy is that most people are consumed with making a living. They forget to make a life. They are so focused on their survival that they never consider their significance. They spend their years building a resume, but they give no thought to their eulogy. But your resume is what you did to get paid. Your eulogy is what you did that made a difference. Your resume is a list of your accomplishments. Your eulogy is the measure of your impact. The world has trained you to chase success, a bigger house, a faster car, a higher position. But success is temporary. It is a vapor. Significance, however, is permanent. It is the trace of your life left in the lives of others. You were not born to simply occupy space and consume resources. You were born to make a deposit into the account of humanity. Therefore, you must become the intentional architect of your own echo. You must begin with the end in mind. I challenge you tonight, here in Rahim Yar Khan, to take out a piece of paper and write your own eulogy. What do you want to be said of you when all is said and done? Do you want to be remembered as the one who accumulated the most, or the one who contributed the most? As the one who was the smartest person in the room, or the one who made everyone in the room feel smarter? As the one who climbed the ladder of success, or the one who held the ladder for others? That eulogy, that vision for your ultimate contribution must become the constitution for your life. It must become the filter through which you make every decision. Living for your echo means you shift your focus from your rights to your responsibilities. It means you stop asking, what can I get? And you start asking, what am I given to give? Your influence is not measured by the number of people who serve you, but by the number of people you serve. Your legacy is not in the buildings you build, but in the people you build. You invest your wisdom, your encouragement, and your belief in others, knowing that their success becomes a part of your echo. You pour yourself into the next generation, understanding that you are planting trees under whose shade you may never sit. This is the essence of a significant life, to live for a purpose that is bigger than your own survival. A life of deep and lasting influence is not built on the shifting sands of popularity or opinion, but on the bedrock of timeless, unshakable truths. Because in the end, your echo will not be a reflection of the pressures you faced, but of the principles you honored. And this is the great battle of every single life. It is the daily war waged between the temporary and the permanent, between the urgent and the important, between the voice of the crowd and the conviction of your character. Pressure is the external force that shouts, compromise, do what is easy, do what is popular. But principle is the internal anchor that whispers, be true, do what is right, do what will last. Pressure is a hurricane, chaotic and loud, seeking to push you off course. Principle is the gyroscope deep within your soul, silent and steady, holding you true to your destination, no matter how violent the storm. The tragedy is that our modern world has trained us to worship the god of pressure. We live in a culture of convenience, speed, and immediate gratification. We make decisions based on social pressure. What will they think of me? We make decisions based on financial pressure. What is the quickest way to profit? We make decisions based on emotional pressure. What will make me feel good right now? People have become chameleons, changing their character to match the color of their environment. They are one person in the place of worship, another in the boardroom, and yet another at home. A life governed by pressure is a life of exhaustion because it is constantly shifting, adapting, and compromising. It is a house built on the sand of public opinion, and when the storms of adversity inevitably come, it collapses into a pile of regret. But a life built on principle is a fortress built on bedrock. Principles are not suggestions. They are the natural laws of the universe. Gravity does not care if you are a good person or a bad person. If you step off a building, you are going down. In the same way, principles like integrity, courage, responsibility, and service are the spiritual and moral gravity of a meaningful life. They are timeless. They are universal. They are non-negotiable. When you build your life on principle, you are aligning yourself with the very fabric of how the world was designed to work. Decision-making becomes simple. It is not always easy, but it is simple. When faced with a choice, you no longer have to consult the latest poll or your fluctuating feelings. You only have to consult your constitution. The answer is already there. Therefore, you must decide today what your non-negotiables are. You must identify the core principles that will govern your life, your family, and your business. Write them down, memorize them, make them the constitution of your character. Then you must anticipate the pressure points. Your principles are never tested when things are easy. They are tested when that big contract requires a small compromise, when telling the truth will cost you something, when no one is watching. You must predecide how you will act in those moments. You must practice the noble, know the powerful ability to say no to a request that violates your yes to your principles. This is the definition of integrity, to be the same person in the dark as you are in the light. This is the foundation upon which a life of true substance is built, a life that is not swayed by the wind, broken by the waves, or eroded by the sands of time. And it is from this unshakable foundation that you earn the right and the responsibility to give the world everything you were created to be. Which brings me to my final and most urgent charge for you tonight. I want you to look at the person sitting next to you. In them and in you are books that will never be written, songs that will never be sung, businesses that will never be launched, and cures that will never be discovered. I submit to you here in Rahim Yarkhan that the wealthiest place on this planet is not the oil fields of the Middle East or the diamond mines of Africa. The richest piece of real estate in the world is the cemetery. That ground is rich with the treasure of all the potential that went to the grave unused. It is heavy with the genius that was never governed, the visions that were never pursued, the principles that were never honored, and the influence that was never unleashed. It is a graveyard of dreams deferred and purposes abandoned. The greatest tragedy in life is not death. The greatest tragedy is a life that died before the body did. It is a life that was lived in preservation mode. We are taught to be careful, to be cautious, to save for a rainy day. But we have taken this advice and applied it to our very spirit. We save our best ideas for a better time. We save our courage for a bigger opportunity. We save our passion for a more deserving project. We are so afraid of failure, so terrified of criticism, so intimidated by the size of our own dreams that we become curators of our own potential. Instead of investors, we live like a battery that is so afraid of losing its charge that it never connects to anything. You were not created to be a museum piece, carefully preserved and protected. You were created to be a tool, to be used, to be expended, to be poured out for the benefit of the world. Therefore, the ultimate goal of a successful life is to die empty. Let me say that again. Your goal is to die empty. The purpose of your existence is to arrive at your final day, breathless, battered, and beautifully broken, having held nothing back. It is to look your creator, the universe, or your own conscience in the eye and say, I used everything you gave me. A seed's purpose is not to be a beautiful seed. Its purpose is to empty itself into the soil to become a tree. A cloud's purpose is not to be a majestic cloud. Its purpose is to empty itself of its rain to give life to the ground below. Your value is not determined by the potential you possess, but by the potential you release. So I ask you, what are you still saving? What idea? What talent? What apology? What forgiveness? What book? What song are you keeping in the vault of someday? You must stop waiting for permission, for the perfect conditions, for a sign from the heavens. The sign was the dream that was planted in your heart. That is your mandate. Run your race. Don't look to the left or the right. You are not in competition with anyone except the person you were yesterday. Your assignment is to finish your course, to empty your unique gift into the world. Pour out your love, your wisdom, your creativity, your leadership, your service. Leave nothing in reserve. Don't make the graveyard poorer when you arrive. Give the world every single drop of the magnificent potential that is you. Now go and die empty. The sleeping giant inside you has heard the call. The principles have been laid, the vision has been clarified, and the path through adversity has been illuminated. The only thing left is your decision. Therefore, tomorrow morning is not just another morning. It is an inauguration. It is a coronation. When you wake up, don't just open your eyes, open the government of your genius. Don't just look at the day ahead. Lead from the memory of your triumphant future. Don't just face your challenges. Command your adversity to serve you. Set the address of your attitude to victory. Live for the echo. Stand on your principles and commit to the glorious, beautiful, demanding work of dying empty exclamation. Your future is no longer a destination to be reached. It is a reality to be released. Your time is not coming. Your time is now. May you govern your world with wisdom and courage. Thank you.